Piano-Play-It.com.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another free piano lesson by Piano-Play-It.com. This is David here, and today I'm going to show you how to play chord inversions. What are chord inversions? I'm going to show you right away, but basically chord inversions help us to connect between two chords in a way that we keep the chords connected to each other, and also that they sound better on the best register of the piano, around the middle register of the piano. So this is very useful in order to play pop songs. So let's go. So until today we learned to play chords on the root position. What does it mean? It means that when you play a chord, this is a C chord for example. Why? Because C, the keynote of the chord, is also the lowest voice of the chord. Okay, so we learned to play chords only in this manner. So now I'd like to show you a system based on chord inversions, we're going to talk about it in a moment, that will help us to connect between two different chords. And what do I mean by that? Let's say we would like to go from C major to G major. Did you realize how much distance I had to move from this chord to this chord? Quite a lot, right? And if you remember from the previous lesson, I told you that piano chords sound better in the middle register of the piano, and the G chord is already touching the highest register of the piano, where the melody should basically be. Anyway, this G chord doesn't sound in its best in this register. It sounds a little bit too thin. So we'd like to find a way to go from C major to a sort of G major, but in this area. If I go to here, it sounds better, but I still perform a big jump. Okay? So, motorically speaking, it's more difficult to perform a jump. There must be an easier way. And there is also another reason that we use chord inversions, which is even more important. What do I mean when I say that a chord has a voice? For example, C, E, and G has three voices, C, E, and G. What do I mean when I say voice? So you have to realize that music started vocally. Three people sang three different voices, and these voices combined together into a pleasant or an unpleasant chord. Okay? So you have to imagine that C, E, and G are all notes sung by different voices, by different singers. And when we move to the next chord in the root position, these voices have to perform big jumps. For example, the lowest voice C has to go to G. The E, the middle voice, has to go to B. And G, the highest voice, has to go all the way to D. All three singers have to perform jumps of 5 steps. That's very uncommon in music. Usually, music is based on moving in steps. So we somehow have to make this voice move one step down or one step up, and the same with the other voices. And that's what chord inversions help us to do. And I will show you how to create chord inversions. Okay, first I'm going to show you how we switch a chord into all possible chord inversions, and then I'm going to show you how we combine these chord inversions in order to fulfill the mission we tried to get. So to play all chords on the middle register and to make all voices move in one step up or down. Let's take a C major chord, C, E, and G. As we said, the keynote of C major is the lowest voice of the chord. What will happen if we keep these upper two voices and we switch the C, the lowest part, to the upper part? This is also C, right? So what I basically did is having the same chord, but the lower C moved up. So E became the lowest part of the chord, G remains the middle, and C moves up. This is also a C major chord, okay? Only it is in the first inversion. This is the root position, where the bass, the keynote of the chord, is the lowest part, and this is the first inversion. Now, if we'd like to go to the second inversion, all we have to do is take E, the lowest part of the chord at the moment, and move it up. So we stay with G, C, and the E from below goes here above. This is the second inversion. What happens next? G moves up again, so G goes to here, and then we move again to the root position. So basically, what do we have? We have the root position, the first inversion, and the second inversion. Altogether, we have 3 inversions. Why? Because the chord has 3 voices. Let's do the same with the G chord. So we have G, B, D. This is in the root position, right? Because G is the lowest part of the chord. We move the G above, so B and D remains, but G becomes the highest voice of the chord, and this is G in the first inversion. Okay? It sounds like this. Then we move again the B up, so D becomes the lowest voice of the chord, G is next, and then to B. And this is the second inversion. And then we go back to the root position. Next we have to talk about the fingerings. So, when we play a C major in the root position, it's easy. You play 1, 3 and 5. Why? Because we have an equal distance between C and E and G. So it's very easy for the hand to grasp it with the first, third and fifth finger. When we move to the first inversion, so we play E with the first finger, G with the second finger, and the upper C with the fifth. Why do I do that? Look, the distance between the first and second finger is quite wide, so it's easy to stretch the fingers, not only to play 1 and 2 like this, but I can also easily stretch the hand to E and G. Here the situation is a little bit more difficult, but I have a distance of 2 fingers, which allows me to play this chord very comfortably. Next we move to the second inversion, and then we do it with the first, third and fifth again. So I have first, third and fifth. And then we move back to 1, 3, 5. So basically you play on all chord inversions 1, 3, 5 except for the first one, where you use 1, 2, 5. Okay, so I'm gonna put this piano lesson in here, but if you want to watch the full piano lesson, click on the link on the right or below, and you'll find the link that will direct you to the specific page of chord inversions in Piano-Play-It. It's all for free, where you can watch the full piano lesson of chord inversions. So I'll see you in there, okay? Piano-Play-It.com. Piano-Play-It.com.